these are mustahab amal. It's not like it's written in Lawh Mahfuz or in Quran that you have to do it at a certain point. But also remember that on this day, the day of Arafah, which is a very important day in the entire calendar year, when all the Hujjaj are gathered in the plains of Arafat. They are there doing the wuquf. Those of you who have done the Hajj, you know or you remember that from the time of Zohar until sunset. Sunset being that time when you stood outside of the tents and you looked at the sunset as the sun was going down and you made the dua. So that time is entirety of it is the wajib wuquf in the plains of Arafat. And Hujjaj don't have to do anything, they just stay, they can sleep, they can do whatever. Being in the plains of Arafat is what is required of them. So therefore, we have until the sunset to perform these amal. And majority of this amal is primarily the dua that has to be recited. And this dua, Arafah of Sayyid al-Shuhada Imam Hussain, alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So this day, Yom Arafah, is the day in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls His servants toward His ibadat, His ita'at, His worship, as well as obedience. Today is the day when we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spreads the table of rahmat and opens the doors of rahmat upon His servants. And therefore, ask for your hajat. Don't be shy in asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala today. Ask for yourself, ask for your neighbors, ask for your friends, ask for your family members. Reach out to others before you go ahead and ask for yourself. There's a riwayat that mentions that our fourth Imam, he saw someone begging, a beggar. He was asking people for help, as the beggars do. Imam looked at him and he said, woe unto you that even a day like this you're asking others instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Should be only asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this day why He has promised to give you and bestow. Even the children, unborn children in the wombs of the mother, they are also excited because of the rahmat that is descent upon them on this particular day. So amongst the amal, if you haven't done so, number one is to fast on this day. It is highly recommended. Number two is to perform the ghusl. And number three is to do the ziyarat of Imam Hussain, which is equivalent to the Hajj and the Umrah. For 1,000 Hajj and Umrah equals to the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the tawfiq next year that we are in Karbala on the day of Arafah. Either we are in the plains of Arafah doing Hajj, if not, and then we are in the Haram of Sayyid al-Shuhada doing the ziyarat. Why? Ziyarat of Imam Hussain. Some riwayat mention that Allah looks at the Zayar of Hussain before He looks at His own Zayar. People who are doing Hajj, they are the Zayar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah looks at the Zawar of Hussain before He pays attention to His own Zayar. So there's highly recommended. People have made efforts from every part of the world, and over the centuries this has been mentioned. People would go for the ziyarat of Imam Hussain on the day of Arafah. That's why the ziyarat of Arafah is highly recommended. Then after the Salat al-Asr, it is recommended that a person performs 2 rakat salat, acknowledging, admitting his sins and mistakes. And nobody's asking you to come on the mic and admit your mistakes. Through your heart, you're connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, admitting, oh Allah, I've committed sins, you know that. And the acknowledgement is the first step in feeling remorse. And once the remorse kicks in, then the acceptance comes in. And you see the shedding of the tears come along with that. And of course, the ziyarat, when we can't do the ziyarat in person, we'll be doing the ziyarat from far away by reciting the ziyarat of Imam Hussain from here. And then of course, Dua Arafah, which is highly recommended to be performed. So inshallah, we'll get started. As I mentioned, if you have already prayed, good. But if you haven't prayed, you can go ahead and offer this salat right now. So the first salat is 2 rakat. In first rakat after Surah Hamd, Surah Ikhlas, and in the second rakat after Surah Hamd, Surah Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun. If you don't know Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun, you can recite Qul Huwallah. But if you know it, better to recite that. Second 2 rakat namaz, it's a lengthy one. It's 2 rakat, and each rakat, it's actually 4 rakat, and in each rakat after Surah Hamd, 50 times Qul Huwallahu Ahad. But there are sets of 2 prayers. So not 4 rakat prayer like a zuhur. You see, it's still 2 rakat prayer like fajr prayers divided into 4. And 200 times Surah Ikhlas, that will take a long time. So I recommend that when you go home, you can do that. But for the brevity of time, we'll just do this first one. And then inshallah we'll move forward with the tasbih. And then inshallah the dua of Imam alayhi salam. So go ahead and get started with the 2 rakat salat in this format that is mentioned on